Have you ever stepped back and thought, why do I keep dating the same type of person over and over again? Maybe your relationships feel eerily similar and you're playing out the same relationship dynamics over and over again without realizing. Well, it's not random. Your brain is designed to seek out the familiar, even if it's unhealthy. Today, we're diving into the psychology of why we unconsciously repeat our parents' relationship dynamics, how childhood attachment wounds can shape how we interact in our love relationships as adults, and most importantly, how you can break the cycle and begin to develop secure, healthy relationships. If you've ever felt stuck in your love life, this video is going to be for you. If you're new to this channel, my name is Wes, and I'm a couples therapist. This channel is devoted to helping you improve your relationships and your mental health so you can live a happier, more full life. So without further ado, let's get into the video for today. The moment that we're born, we're not just learning how to walk and talk from our primary caregivers. We're actually absorbing their emotional blueprint for love, connection, conflict. All of those patterns we're absorbing from the world around us, and especially our parents, our primary caregivers. Dr. Dan Siegel calls this implicit memory. Our early experiences form emotional templates that shape how we expect our relationships to work. We don't consciously remember them, but they shape what we do every day. Mark Wolynn, in the book, It Didn't Start With You, which I highly recommend, it talks about intergenerational trauma, where relationship wounds aren't just passed down through learned behavior, but they're also inherited biologically through epigenetics. Studies have shown that outside stress can increase the amount of cortisol in your bloodstream, and that can impact the baby in utero coming from the male side, from the sperm, and also affecting the baby as it develops in the womb if the mother's very stressed. All of these kind of external factors that are going on in the baby's life can begin to affect the baby's development and even have epigenetic effects, turning on or off specific genes that may lead to behaviors that may make up that emotional blueprint for how we deal with conflict or love relationships in our later life. If your family has a history of abandonment or emotional suppression, you may carry those patterns with you without even realizing it. So what does this actually look like? If your parents' relationship was emotionally distant, then you might find yourself attracted to avoidant partners, people who keep you at arm's length, just like your caregivers did. If your parents fought constantly, you might be drawn to relationships with intensity, drama, conflict, because that feels like love to you. Or if one parent was overly critical or neglectful, you might seek out partners who make you feel like you have to earn their love, just like you once did as a child. All of this is called repetition compulsion, an idea from Freud that talks about how your brain isn't necessarily trying to sabotage you, it's trying to fix what was broken in your past. It thinks that if I can just make this person love me, then I'll fix this childhood wound from my past. But that's a trap, of course, because relationships don't necessarily heal those inner wounds. Self-awareness and inner work that then becomes manifest in the way that we relate to other people can begin to heal those wounds. You begin to heal those wounds by becoming self-aware and doing inner work, and then you bring that into your relationship. And in that way, your relationship can help you heal those wounds because you're responding differently than you did in your past. And hopefully your partner is doing the same. This is where couples therapy can be really helpful. I want to pause the video here just for a second. If you feel like you've been learning anything in this video, please take a second to give it a like and subscribe to my channel or send it to someone who might benefit from it. The channel really grows when you do things like this, and the channel growing helps me continue to create more videos like this to help more people. So if you wouldn't mind, please do that. All right, back to the video. Let's talk a little bit more about how these patterns get passed down. In family systems theory, we see that dysfunctional relationship patterns don't start with us. They usually get passed down through the generations. Psychologist Murray Bowen, one of the biggest psychologists in the field of family therapy, coined the term multi-generational transmission process, meaning that unless someone intentionally breaks the cycle of behavior handed down to them from the generations before them, we tend to repeat the same emotional patterns generation after generation. Here's an example. If your mom was anxiously attached and afraid of losing your dad, you may recreate that same pattern in your own relationships by being hypervigilant, always worried that your partner might leave. If your parents were emotionally unavailable, you might attract partners who mirror that dynamic. Not because you want to be unhappy, but because that unavailability feels like home to you. Remember, we repeat what we don't repair. So how do we break this cycle and develop something that Dr. Dan Siegel calls earned secure attachment? By the way, if you don't know what attachment theory is, I've talked about it a bunch in some of my other videos, and I'll try to pin those here. But earned secure attachment is really a way of learning how to become more securely attached in your existing relationships. And the best thing about this is because of neuroplasticity, we've shown that you can become more securely attached in your relationships and feel more secure as an individual as well. You just need to learn how to break those old patterns and develop newer, healthier ones. So let's talk about how you do that. The first step, as it almost always is self-awareness, noticing the patterns that you get into. So notice your dynamics. Ask yourself, does this relationship that I'm in feel eerily familiar? Am I chasing love or am I choosing love? Do I feel emotionally safe with this partner or am I just recreating chaos? Dr. Dan Siegel has a technique called name it to tame it, which basically shows that simply identifying a pattern can weaken its hold on your brain, which I think is really cool. So just naming the pattern that you get into can actually be the first step in detaching from that pattern and being able to do something different next time. Step 2 is to begin to reparent yourself and heal those attachment wounds. If you're anxiously attached, you may seek constant reassurance from your partner. If you're avoidant, you might push people away when they tend to get too close to you. Either way, the key is learning how to meet your own emotional needs first in the relationship. Here's how. First step, mindfulness and self-reflection. Can you catch yourself when you're repeating old patterns? Ask yourself, am I reacting to my partner or am I reacting to my past here? Now that can be really tough. Some helpful ways to go about building this mindfulness muscle are to enter couples therapy with your partner, where your couples therapist as an outside observer can point out patterns that you and your partner are getting into and how they might be related to your childhood wounds or attachment patterns. You can go to individual therapy and your individual therapist can do the same thing for you as an individual. Or journaling, keeping a daily journal, or even just writing down when you get into a big conflict argument with your partner and what the dynamic might have been, what might have come up for you, how you were feeling during that time. All of that can be really helpful in developing kind of mindfulness around these patterns that you get into. Step 2 is doing inner child work. Inner child work can sound pretty woo-woo, I know, but it can be really helpful. Since a lot of these wounds come from childhood, being able to relate to and even speak with this past part of yourself, this inner, smaller child version of yourself, can be really helpful in healing some of those wounds. Instead of expecting a partner to heal those wounds, practice self-soothing when you're in conflict times or when you feel yourself getting emotionally overwhelmed. This can be a way of reparenting yourself, giving yourself the love and validation that you needed to receive as a child, but maybe didn't. And then step 3 is to work on creating a secure relationship. And the best way to go about this is by getting into couples therapy if you feel like you need the additional support, or sitting down and having real deep talks with your partner about your patterns and about how you guys can go about changing it over time. You can rewire your nervous system and become more securely attached, but it takes a lot of diligence and intentionality around how you interact with your partner and how you respond to the triggers that you yourself are feeling. If you grew up in dysfunction, then a healthy relationship might feel boring at first. In a secure, functioning relationship, both partners prioritize mutual safety trust and connection for the other person. And that can be hard to develop, but it is possible. Here's what it could actually look like. 1, you feel safe being yourself. You're not walking on eggshells all the time with your partner. Conflict doesn't feel like abandonment. You can disagree with your partner without fearing that the relationship is going to end. You feel like you don't have to earn love. Love is given freely without having to constantly prove yourself. Your nervous system feels calm as a baseline. You're not on emotional roller coasters constantly with your partner. You just feel a sense of steady, consistent care from them. Remember, if you feel like you're dating your past, it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to heal. If this video resonated with you, please adding a comment or a like and subscribing to the channel really helps motivate me to continue to make videos like this for all of you and can be really helpful in keeping the channel growing so that other people can benefit from this information too. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.